Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for purchasing a reading. We are going to be doing your 3-card block reading, and this has already been shuffled. I'm actually getting ready to pull the cards for you. Now, the other thing to remember is on my readings, if the camera zooms in, then we'll pull extra cards to clarify what it zoomed in on. So the first card that we need to pull is what is blocking them, and this one pulled right up. The next one is what is blocking you spiritually, also came right up. And the last one is what is blocking your heart. What is blocking their heart? Okay, that one came right up as well. Perfect. And then also, if I want more questions or more clarity, we'll pull more cards as well. So the first one is, what is blocking you? And this is showing up as the reverse 7 of Wands. So the reverse 7 of Wands is about having some weak boundaries. It's about not really telling people how to treat you. So like when you're telling people how to treat you, it's not necessarily where you're giving them a list of things that you require. It's more along the lines of not finding things to be unacceptable. So, for instance, I was watching that 70s show tonight, and Hyde said to this girl, "Call me. You want to go do something sometime?" And she's like, "I already have plans for some time, but basically, like, if you want to go on a date, you have to ask me." So, like, sometimes the way you respond to a person will put up that boundary for you. So I really feel that some of the things that are blocking you is that you're kind of giving away too much of your energy to other people because you don't have the boundary up. And that will actually assist you with moving other blocks, because what's happening when someone doesn't have boundaries, they're allowing anyone and everyone to come in. So it's kind of like you have this beautiful house and this beautiful garden, and you don't put up a fence, and people trample on your roses, and they, break your little statues. Like, they cause destruction and disruption because there's no boundary. A boundary is not a mean thing. Telling somebody what you want or need is not mean. It's actually really helpful because then they know where they stand. So, what is blocking you spiritually is showing up as the reverse magician. Now, the reverse magician is about not having your energy focused on like one thing to create, it's about scattered resources. So, let's say that you are trying to manifest a new car, and you sat there and you pretended you had the car and you were driving around. One of the things that's blocking you is you are not realizing that you are able to create these things. You are actually a very powerful creator. You are the magician, but you have to change your energy to being upright and taking that power. See, she's creating the diamonds and they're floating. Like, there's power inside of you. And part of it, because of not having those boundaries up, I sense that people just call you, maybe they'll ask you for a ride, or they'll ask to borrow money, or they'll ask for you to buy them groceries, or can you help pay my rent? And so you're spending all this energy on other people, and really it's actually subtracting from your spirituality. So when you are taking that person to the airport, you might have been meditating and getting an answer that would tell you how to create money and wealth in your own life. Like, giving your time to other people. That's why people ask you, like, "Oh, I spent time with him. I spent time with her. What did you spend your day doing?" Like, there's a part of that energy that goes down, and if you're giving it to people who aren't putting up boundaries, because you aren't putting up boundaries, you're not getting that spiritual connection that you're craving. I feel that you're craving it. And then the last one is, what is blocking your heart? And this is showing up as temperance. Now, this is really interesting because the block for your heart is about self-control. So temperance is about controlling yourself. One of the things that my sister-in-law kind of showed me that I really love is when before she goes to bed, she picks everything up and she's like, "I'm trying to do something nice for future me." And I feel that when you're giving away your resources, you're blocking your heart from other people, because there's a little part of you that resents it. You do feel used. Anybody would feel used if they were being like taken advantage of, basically. And so because you're not the person who puts up the boundaries is you. And when you put up those healthy boundaries, it's because you love yourself. And there's some balance to that that says, I'm going to give to other people because I like helping and I feel like it makes me happy. But I'm also going to give myself that same consideration. I'm going to say no. Sometimes you can say no for no other reason other than you want to. You do not always have to say yes. You can say no just because you're showing yourself that you're a priority to yourself. It would be the equivalent of being in a relationship and having the person say, oh, no, sorry, I gotta hang out with this person tonight because I've already made plans. You can make plans with yourself that you don't cancel. You can make yourself such a priority that you say, I can't take you to the airport because I have plans. You don't have to explain what your plans are. You don't have to say, my plans are to, eat bonbons and pet my cat. Like, you don't have to tell them what your plans are. Your boundary can be, I can't do this for you. I have plans. And if they push and they say, what are your plans? You never have plans. What are you talking about? You can just be like, everybody's got to be a little bit of a mystery. Don't worry, I'm safe. And leave it at that. Like, you don't have to fill in the blanks. I feel in some ways you've had strong presence in your life that have been like, what are you doing? What's happening? Like, they've really like grilled you and wanted to know what was going on. And so they just crashed through your boundaries. I think it's a really interesting picture too. Like all of these like wands that are going like, do this for me, do this for me, hey, I want you to do that. And then she's holding her wand and is like, this is the only wand that matters to me. Because ultimately, it's kind of the equivalent of being on an airplane when those the oxygen masks fall down and they say put yours on before you help anybody else. It's the same thing. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to give to anybody. And then the problem with that is that eventually someone's really gonna need you and you're not gonna have the resources. Sometimes people will come to you and say, oh, this is an emergency. And one of the greatest things I ever heard was, your ill planning does not make an emergency for me. Like people know, I feel like you're a very, you're put together, you're responsible, you're the person that people look to for help. And you can save that for yourself. You don't have to give that all away. It's really a difficult lesson, and I know because I had to learn it myself. I had to learn about boundaries. So I totally understand where it goes against almost everything that you were taught when you were younger. But believe me, it will absolutely change your life to be able to say no. And that is going to open up your opportunity to really start connecting with yourself. And when you connect to yourself, doors open, things change. You find happiness because the person who loves you the most is you. All right, so then now we're going to go ahead and do the bonus card. What information do they need? What information do they need? All right, and it says, wow, the end of a tough cycle approaches. Do you feel that? You know what that means? That means this cycle that you've had in the past of giving to everyone else is getting ready to end. I feel that you really have been able to see the pieces and how they fit and why you feel blocked and why you feel you have been made to feel guilty. The part of you that is your higher self never ever feels guilty about taking care of you. And the pieces that have shame or feel guilty about saying no or feel like you shouldn't say no, that was coming from other people. That is not coming from your higher self. So I definitely recommend that you look at each relationship in your life, anybody who you spend more than 15 minutes with, and be like, okay, are they giving me back equal what I give? Or am I over giving to this person? And then I would even say, okay, what can I start doing that I'm giving myself back that energy? or that time or that money or that focus. You know what I mean? If you have that one friend who calls and talks to you for 20 minutes, how do you get your 20 minutes back? You know what I mean? So I think you are on a great road. I feel that you definitely will be able to, like it says, end this cycle. And I thank you so much for letting me read for you. And I look forward to reading for you again.